Hey, I just wanted to jump on here really quick and share what I just read because it's so good, and I think it will really help you in your journey in hearing God's voice. I am always a student. I love to learn. I love to be taught, and I love to grow in hearing God's voice. I, by any means, am far from perfect in hearing His voice, but I long and I desire for it. And so we're going to be reading from 1 Kings 19:11 through 13. But here's the question. It says, how can I develop and maintain an attitude of active listening before the Lord? So listen up. Many people seem uncomfortable with silence, especially if they are alone. In silence, however, we are able to hear the still small voice of the Lord. Certainly the prophet Elijah knew this. After receiving a death threat from Queen Jezebel, Elijah escaped to an isolated desert area, and there in a cave, he heard the Lord say to him, "Go out and stand on the mountain before the Lord." And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind tore into the mountains and broke rocks in pieces before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. And so it was when Elijah heard it that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood in the entrance of the cave. And suddenly a voice came to him and said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Quietness is essential to listening. If we are too busy to sit in silence in the presence of God, if we are preoccupied with thoughts or concerns about the day, if we have filled our minds for hours upon hours with carnal interference and aimless chatter, then we are going to have a difficulty truly listening to the still, small voice of God. Set aside times to wait upon the Lord in silence. You may find that late night or early morning is a good time of solitude and quiet for you. Or maybe it's a noonday walk in the park where you can be quiet and quiet your soul before the Lord. Ask the Lord to reveal to you a time and a place where you might turn off the cares and worries of the world for a few moments and listen to Him. So often we spend our time by talking and talking and talking to the Lord, which is awesome, but without spending any time just waiting in silence to see what the Lord might have to say to us. Take time to intentionally sit or kneel in silence before the Lord. Empty your mind of all your thoughts. Concentrate on His Word, His presence with you. And then here's 2 questions that you can ask yourself. Listening to God is essential to walking with God. Let these speak to you and, think about them, ponder on them, not necessarily questions, but things that you can think about. Listening to God is essential to walking with God. We need God's voice. We don't need the voice of our friend. We don't need the voice of a YouTube person. You don't even need my voice, honestly. We need the voice of God. And I need it, and you need it. And so it's so essential to hear God's voice for your life. And secondly, our intimacy with God, it's His highest priority for our lives. It determines the impact of our lives. Listen, we have so much going on, so many voices that vie for our time, so much stuff that vies for our attention. But let's give God first place in our heart. Let's give God first place in our mind. And let's begin to listen and hear what God has to say. So I hope that blesses you. I hope that encourages you. I hope you find some time to slow down. As God told me, go stop and smell the roses. Like, take time with me. And so I pray that you would find that time set apart for you and Him just to get to know each other. So be encouraged. Have a beautiful day. And go out and listen to hear God's voice. Bye.